Welcome to the HPG Blackout. First, let me say thank you to everyone for their support in helping us reach 1,000 subscribers. As a thank you, here is a bonus video with a new format I will continue with after the era's videos are done. Let me know if you like it and want to see more in the comments below. Today, we will be delving into the history of one of the legendary people of the Inner Sphere and beyond. Allow me to introduce you to the first MechWarrior, Charles Kincaid. But before we do not forget to get our signal out by liking and subscribing for more. The formative years of Colonel Charles Kincaid, recognized as the pioneer MechWarrior, were teetering on the brink of oblivion. This obscurity was due primarily to the House Cameron's consistent efforts to preserve its reputation and, subsequently, attempts to conceal certain aspects of history. These concealment efforts extended centuries, leading to an extensive loss of significant records. The situation was further exacerbated by the upheaval unleashed by the Ameris coup, which eradicated most of the surviving records. In 3148, an archaeological team from the Republic of the Sphere, a critical political power after the word of Blake War, embarked on a mission that led to a significant breakthrough. This discovery was further bolstered by another team, this time from Interstellar Expeditions, an organization devoted to exploring the cosmos and unearthing the lost fragments of history. The last expedition was carried out on the world of Kilborn in 3149. Their cumulative efforts led to the unveiling of family records of the Kincaids, which had been hidden away and almost lost to the sands of time. The discovery of these records enabled historians to piece together a detailed account of Colonel Charles Kincaid's early life and his path toward becoming the first MechWarrior. This revelation also provided insights into his impact on the Inner Sphere, giving us a more comprehensive understanding of how his actions shaped the evolution of MechWarrior culture and warfare. Colonel Kincaid's tale, pieced together after centuries of obscurity, served as a testament to the influential role of individuals within the ever-shifting political and military landscape of the Inner Sphere. Born into the affluent and influential Kincaid lineage, Charles Kincaid was the family's firstborn son, tracing their roots back to the city of Kilborn. Deeply entrenched within the annals of military history, the Kincaid clan held a storied martial legacy that spanned back to the pivotal era of Terra's Second World War. This proud lineage formed the foundation for the expectations laid upon the young Charles. From his childhood, the weight of these expectations bore heavily upon his shoulders, cultivating a familial culture wherein defeat was not merely undesirable, it was unthinkable. The patriarch of the Kincaid family, Colonel Kincaid, was a strong proponent of this high-achieving mindset. He deployed all resources and privileges at his command, from comprehensive education to a broad spectrum of experiences, with the singular aim of equipping his son with the requisite tools to uphold and enhance the family's prestigious heritage. Colonel Kincaid believed it his paternal duty to mold Charles into an embodiment of the family's martial heritage. To this end, he spared no expense in offering his son the finest education, focusing not just on military tactics and strategies, but also on leadership, diplomacy, and the subtle art of political maneuvering, skills he believed essential for navigating the treacherous landscape of the Inner Sphere. In addition to the traditional classroom setting, he ensured Charles was exposed to real-world situations and experiences, often taking him on tours of active battlefields or military strategizing sessions. In this manner, Charles Kincaid was shaped under the relentless pressure of expectation and rigorous training to maintain and exalt the family's storied heritage. His journey was not just about becoming a worthy successor, but also about evolving into a leading figure within the intricate tapestry of the Inner Sphere, a role model for future generations of Kincaids and a beacon of honor and prowess in the broader context of military history. Monetary inducements and land grants on Kilborn were extensively distributed to those who could facilitate Charles Kincaid's advancement through societal ranks. Paradoxically, historical records highlight that Charles was extraordinarily gifted and competent on his merit, with inherent talents that would have likely propelled him to significant heights even without his father's strategic maneuvering. After graduating from a renowned preparatory institution, Kincaid was dispatched to the cradle of humanity, Terra, to study at the esteemed West Point Academy. This was not a solitary venture, as he was accompanied by an entourage of educators, counselors, and personal trainers generously sponsored by his affluent father. While his father's intervention ensured that Charles honed his skills as a proficient tactician and an influential leader, it also shielded him from the essential crucibles of life. Consequently, Charles never experienced the testing rigors of adversity or the growth from having one's decisions questioned and contested. Upon his triumphant graduation from the West Point Academy, Kincaid immediately enlisted with the Hegemony Armed Forces. Despite his lack of experience, his familial connections and polished education allowed him to circumvent the usual path of progression, and he was given the high-ranking position of captain. This pathway into military leadership allowed him to apply his strategic acumen on a grander scale and further extend the sphere of his charisma. However, it's worth mentioning that the inner sphere is replete with tales of how untested leadership can falter in the face of real battlefield scenarios, raising questions about Kincaid's capabilities beyond his father's manipulations. The first significant challenge in Kincaid's illustrious military career arose during the planet Tybalt's perilous defense in 2435, a critical operation overseen by the Terran Hegemony. Entrusted with the overarching strategic design and execution of military operations, Kincaid found himself at the epicenter of a high-stakes standoff. His strategic insight was further tested when Director General Jacob Cameron, in a bid to fortify the Hegemony's military assets, commanded the mobilization of the revolutionary fusion-powered Merkava Mark VII heavy tank, a state-of-the-art marvel in mechanized warfare at that time. The strain on Kincaid was immense, owing not only to the novelty of the Merkava tanks, but also to the Hegemony's track record in the ongoing conflict. Until that moment, the Hegemony's engagements had yielded only Pyrrhic victories. Wins that came at such a significant cost that they felt more akin to defeats. Kincaid was tasked with turning the tides of battle, and the survival of Tybalt was hinged on his success. Undeterred by the daunting task ahead, Kincaid proved his worth in no uncertain terms. With masterful strategy and tactical insight, he maximized the potential of the fusion-powered Merkava Mark VII tanks, demonstrating an unprecedented fusion of technology and battlefield tactics. Furthermore, his courage and leadership were displayed as he commanded the fighter squadron, an act of courage that inspired his troops to fight with unyielding resolve. Kincaid's strategic ingenuity and resolute leadership contributed to the successful defense of Tybalt, ensuring the planet's integration as a protectorate of the Hegemony. The significant victory cemented his reputation as a true hero in the eyes of Director General Cameron, distinguishing Kincaid from his peers in an otherwise largely misguided conflict. The fame and respect Kincaid earned on the battlefield would forever link his name with one of the most pivotal events in the annals of the Terran Hegemony's history. Compelled into the development of the battle mech under the weight of his father's connections within the hegemonic military establishment, Kincaid found himself among the shortlisted contenders for the privileged role of operating the revolutionary MSK-5S Mackie. His father's influence and the chance to etch his name in the annals of military history spurred him to push past his initial doubts and reservations. The allure of being remembered as a pioneer in a groundbreaking technological advancement made the prospect of success, even at the expense of his well-being, an attractive one for Kincaid. This drive culminated in the triumphant initial test run of the Mackie on February 5, 2439, a landmark event that was widely celebrated, but the darker aftermath was far less publicized. Despite the Mackie's success, the initial version of the Neuro helmet, the intricate device that allowed pilots to control the battle mech, proved detrimental to Kincaid's neural health. Its innovative yet experimental design caused severe damage to his nerve tissue. The harmful effects, however, didn't manifest immediately but induced a gradual degeneration over the subsequent decades. The high-profile nature of the Mackie project meant that this neural damage was promptly detected after the inaugural test. In subsequent iterations, the flaw in the Neuro helmet was rectified, saving future pilots from the same fate. However, the insidious nature of Kincaid's injury meant that the full extent of the damage only became evident years later. The revelation of the damage inflicted upon Kincaid was a potential public relations catastrophe. Consequently, the high-ranking officials overseeing the project chose to shroud the evidence. The narrative of success and progress around the BattleMech project was preserved. At the same time, the harrowing personal cost paid by Kincaid was conveniently swept under the rug, keeping the masses oblivious to the dangers the initial pilots had to face. Colonel Kincaid was pivotal as the commander of the formidable 801st Heavy Armored Regiment. The year 2443 marked a significant point in his military career when he bravely led his regiment's lance, piloting his notable Mackie battlemech against a Draconis combined armored company and its accompanying infantry. This confrontation, which unfolded on the planet of Styx, was the first to feature battlemechs, marking a critical milestone in the evolution of warfare in the inner sphere. However, the admiration and glory Kincaid attained came at a grave personal cost. Over time, Kincaid was increasingly incapacitated by the nerve damage he'd endured during the initial Mackie trials. The neurohelmets of the period, still in their primitive stages of development, could only do so much to alleviate his deteriorating condition. This technology was not sufficiently advanced to fully counteract the tremors that grew more pronounced in his limbs or the increasingly frequent periods of diminished consciousness he experienced. Despite these debilitating health issues, Kincaid soldiered on with unwavering dedication, maintaining his stature as an accomplished officer for as long as possible. However, his appearances on the battlefield became increasingly rare due to his intensifying health problems. According to the Kincaid family and the Terran hegemony, the toll on Kincaid's health resulted from the traumatic brain injuries he sustained during the Styx conflict. However, these injuries were never fully ameliorated. The Kincaid family, known for its relentless pursuit of excellence, along with Kincaid's ambition to be recognized as the pioneering MechWarrior, compelled him into prematurely testing technology that was fraught with risks. Tragically, the technology that Kincaid had rushed to test was refined and rendered significantly safer mere weeks following his trials. Ultimately, Kincaid's life was a testament to the glory and peril inherent in pursuing progress. He passed away at 68 in the familiar surroundings of his residence on Kilborn. His story remains a potent reminder of the sacrifices made to push the boundaries of what is possible in the inner sphere. Thanks again for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it, and let me know who you want to know more about in the comments below. We will see you next time.